Hey, we're taking a look at percentile still, and we're looking at question number 2. The results obtained by 214 students on a math exam are given below in increasing order, so that those numbers are nicely ordered for us. What is the percentile rank of a student who receives an 81 on her exam? So this right over here is the target value, the one that we want to know the percentile of. We're being asked for percentile rank, and we're going to apply the formula in a minute. I just want to take a second to talk about the way the numbers are being shown to us here. They like to do this on exams. Here you can see a series of numbers, 32, 45, 48, 50, 76, 78, 78, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. But you can see these little spaces in between. And what that means is that they've skipped some numbers. Rather than write them all out, they've shown us the first few and the last few, and they've told us a total of 168. So there are 168 values in this part of the distribution over here, even though we've only shown 7. On the right-hand side, after this little gap, we've got 46. So we could figure out pretty quickly already, if I take 168 and I add that to 46, you're going to see that there are 214 students in total. That's a significant number. We're going to be using that number in the formula, but just to show you the different ways in which they can represent that data. You can see our target one. It's right over here, number 81. We got 3 of those. And then we just have to think about how many are less than that 81, and the way to do that is pretty easy. We know there's 168 of them over here, plus these 2 guys over here. So 168 plus 2, that tells us that we're looking at from here right to there, we have 170 values less than our target of 81. So it's just a different way of setting up those numbers. Don't get fooled by it. It's pretty straightforward. We'll go ahead now and crunch the percentile. So percentile will be equal to the number of values less than 81, and we've identified that as being 170, plus the number of values equal to the 81 divided by 2, so that's 3 over 2, divided that by the total number of values, which is 214, times the whole thing by 100, and then remember at the end we have to round up. We'll talk about that in a second. So when I crunch that, I'm going to go ahead and convert that into a decimal first. That's going to be 170 plus 1.5 over 214 times 100 will be equal to, so now I can use the calculator, 170 plus 1.5 will give me 171.5. Divide that by 214. It's going to give me that pretty long decimal there. Don't forget though, we're going to take a second and times that by 100. And now you can see the number 80.14. 80.14. Normally, you're tempted to round that off to 80, but remember, when we're doing percentile, we always, always, always round up. So the second you have a little bit of a decimal, we're going to jump to the next whole number here for percentile. So the answer for this one is the 81st percentile. Now, I also want to point out to you that we were asking about a mark of 81, and it turns out that if you got an 81, you were in the 81st percentile. That's a coincidence. It doesn't happen all the time, and so don't be confused that you can get 2 different numbers, and very often, in fact, you will. It's quite rare that you'll see this kind of a thing happen, but it's worth looking at just so that you don't get confused. You're in the 81st percentile if you scored the 81 in this case. And we'll take a look at some more examples.